Second conditional. There are 4 different types of conditional sentences. In this video, we're going to look at second conditionals. Be sure to check out our videos on 0, first, and third conditionals. You can find the links in the video description. The second conditional is used to talk about hypothetical and unreal situations in the present or future. We use it to explore imaginary or unlikely situations. Here's an example. If I lived at the beach, I would swim every day. Second conditional is used because it refers to an imaginary situation. I don't live at the beach, so I can't go swimming every day. I'm also not planning to move to the beach anytime soon. But in this sentence, I am imagining that scenario. Let's now look at the structure that makes this a second conditional sentence. To form second conditional, we use the word if, followed by past simple tense. Then, to form our second clause, we use the modal verb would along with the base verb. In English, a base verb is always used after a modal verb. A comma is used to separate our 2 clauses. We use would because we are talking about hypothetical situations. We can use could instead of would. For example, if I lived at the beach, I could swim every day. This suggests that living at the beach would make it possible for me to swim every day, but it's not as certain that I would actually do it. Similarly, we can use the modal verb might to show a more uncertain or less definite possibility. For example, if I lived at the beach, I might swim every day. In this sentence, the condition comes before the result. We can change the order. For example, we could say, I would swim every day if I lived at the beach. In this case, the structure is flipped around, as you can see here. If we do this, we don't use a comma between the clauses. Now we know the structure of second conditionals, let's take a look at a couple more examples. Number 1. If I were you, I'd take that job offer. Number 2. If I won the lottery, I would retire. Number 3. If Lily had a car, she'd drive to work. Did you notice that 2 of these sentences use contractions? I'd, which is the contracted form of I would, and she'd, which is the contracted form of she would. Contractions are often used in spoken English. We know they are second conditional because they follow this structure. If, followed by a clause in past simple, then a comma, then would, and then a base verb. These sentences all refer to unreal or hypothetical situations. You might have noticed something unusual in the first sentence. The word were is used with the subject I. Normally, for first person singular, we would use was. I was. In second conditional sentences, all subjects use were. For example, if I were, if you were, if he were, if she were, if it were, if we were, if they were. As you can see, were is used even with the subjects I or he, she, and it, where we would normally use was in other situations. This structure expresses unreal or hypothetical conditions. This is called the subjunctive mood. In informal speech, you might sometimes hear people say was instead of were. However, using were is grammatically accurate and helps to clearly show that the situation is imaginary. Now it's time to write a second conditional sentence of your own. Write about a hypothetical situation that is unlikely to happen or is a dream scenario. If you'd like, use one of these starters. Here's the usual structure for second conditional sentences. Remember, when using the verb to be in the past simple clause, we use were for all subjects. For example, instead of saying if I was rich, we say if I were rich. Also, instead of would, you can use other modals like could or might to express possibility, ability, or uncertainty. And finally, remember that we can switch the order like this: would plus the base verb, then if, then a past simple clause. I'd love to see your sentence or sentences in the comments below so I can see how you went. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you haven't already, check out our videos on 0, 1st and 3rd conditionals using the links below. Hope to see you soon for the next lesson. EasyTeaching.net